That help, I was able to land a job within the first 4 months of attending school at my computer career.
A few weeks before graduation, though, I landed my first job as a Tier 1 technician with a large insurance company. And 6 months later, I was actually working as a Tier 2 technician with a significant pay raise. And kind of like my first job, they were also very impressed that I had so many certifications.
You have to look at what you want in life and where you're at. For me, my computer career was an easy choice because they offered me a better lifestyle that I really wanted, and it was the only place that would really give me that upper hand in life.
The folks at my computer career are very caring. They really care about our success in the IT industry, not just with certifications, but also with finding a career and really being happy with that choice.
Oh, IT enthusiasts, welcome to another episode of My Computer Careers Get Into IT Live, where we do just that, get into all things IT. We're once again coming to you from our beautiful Energy Drive studios and could not be happier to have you here with us. Once again, we are going to tackle one of our favorite subjects, and that is student and graduate success. And in case anybody's wondering, yes, I'm still trying to get used to looking at the camera and figuring out where everybody is. So I have a monitor over here where I'll be talking to folks, but I want to talk to you directly here. So again, thank you for joining us. We are going to kind of do two things today. We're going to highlight student success because that's what we do and our students are awesome. But we're also going to use that to talk just a little bit about our graduation. We have a graduation tomorrow where this particular student is going to be virtually walking through with 2,135 of his closest friends. So we're looking forward to being a part of that event, as we always are. And we're certainly looking forward to chatting with our guest. So our guest today is William Phillips, and I'm trying to find where I put all of my questions. William has a background that I think is going to resonate with a lot of folks, but found a lot of success in the program through hard work, dedication, drive, and you're going to hear some of that as you talk to William and as we talk to William and have that conversation. So. Little housekeeping. I see we already have folks jumping in, by the way. Grant, good to see you. Hey, William, congratulations on your world-class IT professional award. Awesome. Joshua Phillips, William, what's up? You look good. You already got some fans out there, pal. You got some stands going. I love it. It's good to see. Before we fully jump in and I properly introduce William, as you can see, comments are open. And Patricia, as always, is in the comments. So please go in if you have anything to say, if you have any questions for William about his experience in the program, about the job search, about anything you can think of if you're in a similar path. And I'm sure he will do his best to answer those for you. And if you have any questions about MyCC, obviously, we will try to answer those as well. So let's have a little fun today for 30 minutes, and then let's get on out of here. Okay, William, officially welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Great to have you here. And you're coming to us from Houston, yes?
Yes, sir. Houston,
By the way,
Texas.
no weather in Houston, no ice, no snow. He's doing fine down there. So good to know. Everywhere else, it seems, it's Armageddon. All right. William Phillips is a graduate of our Cyber Warrior program. I'm going to do the quick bio here. We pulled this from your LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Dedicated cybersecurity professional and U.S. Marine Corps veteran with 3 years of experience ensuring data integrity and operational security across enterprise and government and environments. His mission is to bridge the gap between technical defense and regulatory governance to protect critical organizational assets. Well said, dude. Well said. As an upcoming graduate of the Cyber Warrior program, where he earned the World-Class IT Professional Award for maintaining technical excellence and leadership. He went 4 for 4 on core certifications, culminating in CySA Plus, which if anybody has trained, anybody has taken the CySA Plus exam, that is no joke at all. So congratulations on all of that success, William. Congratulations on reaching the end of the program and reaching tomorrow's ceremony. So glad to have you here.
I appreciate it, Aaron. And thank you so much again. I feel very honored to be here. So
honor's all here, pal. Thank you. Really appreciate it. All right. So let's talk a little bit about you. Starting with your background, you're a Marine Corps veteran who served from 2011 to 2015 as a tactical communication specialist.
Mm-hmm.
When did you first start thinking about making that transition into IT?
So good question. So for me, the honest answer I have is at the time I wasn't. And it may sound a bit weird, but as we go along, you'll understand why. But when I first started my job as an RO, right? Because I was in an infantry unit, and I remember my platoon sergeant had said, "Hey, we're gonna have you go on the radios." At first, I was like like I was my honest thing was like, why? I have more like, you know what I mean? I just wanted to stay in my lane. I just wanted to do what I was meant to do, and I was like, I don't want to have to carry more stuff. It just kind of like, it wasn't a volunteer type of thing. It was you were voluntold, like you're going to do this. And at the time, I just, I really struggled with that mindset to kind of look at the bigger picture, as opposed to now, because I can see like that value that I got from that, and
Yeah.
how much that helped. And so, when I was learning about the phonetic alphabet, when I was learning about call signs, when I was learning about all these different things, I look at it like, as an RO, you have one of the most important jobs in the whole platoon. You are the voice for the platoon. So without you, they can't talk to nobody. They can't, if
Right.
someone's injured, they can't bring anything out. So to answer your question, for that really is, I look at it now, and I value that training that I had, because I look back now, and it kind of embedded this into my subconscious. I'm like, man, I've been doing tech almost all my life. I've been some way, somehow been involved in tech. And that's what helped me, lead me to my position to go to my computer career. It wasn't at the time, but it was
Yep.
a slow buildup of just learning different things from different jobs, all these different things that has some piece of technology attached to it. And then eventually I'm just like, I've been around this all my life. I've been on computers all my life. I've been doing something technical almost all my life. So
Right.
I go and pursue a career for it.
So that kind of answers the next question. As a radio operator, obviously you had an introduction to tech, and
Mhm.
that led you to kind of understand you've been doing it you've been doing it in some capacity,
Mhm.
or another for a while.
Yeah.
But the real question is, how much heavier was that radio equipment?
you know, it was, I was a skinny dude back then.
Yeah.
I was like, 18, 19, 20 years old, and I didn't have a lot of muscle on me. So yeah, I definitely felt it. I
bet.
definitely,
I'll
I
bet you
definitely
did. Yeah. All right, we got Jason over on LinkedIn that says, "Congratulations, William. This is well deserved. Excited to see what's ahead for you. Great things await." Thank you so much, Jason. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So military, we're gonna kind of fast forward that. It's a big deal, but let's talk about when you got out of the military.
Mhm.
You tried a lot of different things. You went to
Yeah.
college at Ohio State. Go ahead and
Mhm.
say it.
Yeah. Go Buckeyes. Go
Amen.
Buckeyes.
Uh,
Yeah.
you went to college at Ohio State. You were in logistics, food service, warehousing, construction.
Mhm.
Can you just kind of talk about that journey, and when you kind of, I mean, really realized throughout that journey when IT might be your answer?
So, so for me, right, this is not only just a professional answer, but this is a faith-based answer as well. When I was in my 20s and I was, trying all these different jobs, I just, nothing stuck, nothing felt satisfying, nothing just, and I think a lot of it had to do with me internally, just, trying to find my niche, trying to find just like what stuck. Because when I went to Ohio State and I did that, like it was kind of the same thing. I would try this major, that wasn't sticking for me. I tried this major, that wasn't sticking for me.
Yep.
And it kind of felt chaotic in a way, because I just, I'd work a job for a year, or a few months, and I'm like, I don't want to do that no more. I want to do this now. And I always kept thinking that this next big thing would be like it'd be like the grand thing, like the best thing ever. But it wasn't until, I really came into my faith. It wasn't until, I really came into my faith and just, and laid everything out on the table and just gave everything to God, where I finally had some stability in my life. And I finally was able to do some internal thinking. I was, through prayer, through consistently just changing habits. Because to be honest, Aaron, when I was growing up, and like, when I was in these different jobs, I had a very pessimistic mindset. I was not valuing what I was learning that much. Not like I was now with my computer career, with everything now. I value all of that, and I value so much like like where my journey's come. I'm so thankful for that journey. I'm so thankful for like all these different jobs, because this is what ultimately led me to IT. This is, all, like I said before, like all these different things that I had to learn, all these different, tech related things that were attached to each of my jobs. All of that led to this moment where I finished school, I'm in a great career, because I love what I'm doing now. I absolutely love it. And I want to go so far in this. I'm so excited to, to pursue this with all my heart, because I have that stability. And, the most important thing I will attribute to that is my faith in God. God brought this for me. He made all of this happen for me. So,
And really appreciate that share, William. And we're going to talk about your pursuit a little bit more as we continue this conversation. But kind of walking back a little bit, as you're going through and you're at Ohio State and you're you're trying to kind of figure things out. Once you made the decision, okay, I'm going to jump into, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go into IT. This is my path. Why was it my computer career? Was it a radio ad? What made the decision?
No, actually. So a former alumni of our church that I go to, his name is Joseph Eaglin. He actually he was one of the ones that recommended it. And I have a lot of buddies from my church that are all in IT. And it helped really influence that for me. And I just for me, like I went from, I was working a job, I was helping, I was serving, and I actually got let go of that job back in September. And it was like that trajectory where I was like, well, what am I going to do now? And so, my friends were talking about, they were talking about IT. And so I just started, Google searching. I was like, okay, well, what schools are out there? And I remember talking to Joe. He was talking about, my computer career. He's like, yeah, I did it. It was great. I loved it. He did it back in 2011. And so I looked it up and I just said, okay, how do I get started? Where do I go? I found out that the GI Bill pays for it, which I thought was a blessing. And I mean, Aaron, I'm not even making this up. I applied within 10 minutes. I'm getting a phone call.
We've heard that.
And they're like, hey, is this William? Like we heard that you applied for so-and-so, for my computer career. Like we just want to see if we can help you get started. And I'm like the rest is history, man. Right. The rest was absolutely history. And then, I within that hour of talking to him and getting everything set up, I was, I had something booked for October. So then I started school in October and that was it, man.
I love it. I love it. And so did you say that you talked to somebody who went to MyCC in 2011?
Yes. Yeah. He went.
An OG. Well, I mean, we opened in 2007. That is an OG.
Yeah. Yeah. He was an OG for sure. Yeah.
I think we need to talk to him.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you after this.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So big decision. You join My Computer Career, an even bigger decision. You jump into the Cyber Warrior program.
Yes.
And you'll be the first to say that's no joke.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Cyber Warrior program, talk about your experience in the program, because, essentially, and it's been adjusted a little bit, and I'm not exactly sure on what your schedule was, but essentially that's a full-time job.
It is.
That's 5 days a week. Talk a little bit about your experience there.
Well, first off, I want to give a hats off to the instructors. Grant Gibson, Roy Bass, and Lawrence Healy. I mean, phenomenal instructors. And anybody that gets them as their instructors, I'm telling you, you're going to have a great time. And I know all the other ones are fantastic. I've had a lot of them, but
sure.
Yeah. The Cyber Warrior program, like for those 3 months, you're locked in. You are locked into that. This is a full-time job. It's an 8 to 5. It is a full-time thing, and you got to commit. What helped me was participating. I love to participate. I love to be involved. I like to learn the why, the how, the causes of, of certain things. So for me, I took it very, very seriously. When I started school on October 8th, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to make sure I get, the best grade that I can possibly get. I'm going to make sure I ask all these questions. I want to attend all the labs. I want to attend everything. I want to be a part of everything here, because if I don't I'm missing an opportunity. I'm missing a resource that could really benefit me in the long run. So I looked at it with a completely different lens, where I get to be a part of all of this. And don't get me wrong, I will say this, Aaron, there are some tough days. There were some tough days. It was, from time to time, it was a little difficult to kind of get a rhythm going. But once that started, I was like, hey, we in it. We're here. Just, repetition. You're doing the same thing, and it started to flow. So
I'm so glad you mentioned that because we stress it here often. We stress it on social when we're talking to people. You are going to hit a rough patch in your
Mhm.
program. You're
Mhm.
going to. It just happens. It's a challenging program that's done for a reason, so the
Mhm.
folks like you can go out and hit the ground running in IT.
Yes.
So it's really great to hear that. But we hear often too that you really lean into your classmates
Yes.
and into your instructors in those situations. Did you find that was the case?
Absolutely, 100%. I would not have been able to do as well as I did without my classmates, without my instructors. I know that for many of them, if they're watching right now, they know who they are. They helped so much, and the study sessions that we had, the camaraderie that we shared, it was beautiful. I loved every part of it. I loved just being a part, and I felt like our class was very close. Like we had a very nice tight knit bond, and
Yeah.
and again with the instructors too. I will say this too, and hopefully I'm not jumping ahead, but I wanted to share this in the realm of hardship.
Yeah.
So when I took for A+, there's two parts to it, right? And the first part I passed, no problem, first try. The second part, the first time I didn't. And I'll say this, Aaron, that hit me so hard that because I felt like I put my everything into that, right, to try to
Yeah.
pass first try. But what I realized is that I was putting my value into this test. I was recognizing like my value is attributed to this test, and if I don't pass, it's the end of the world. It's like it's terrible, and that's not the right mindset. This test will not make or break you, but if you allow it to, affect your mindset, if you allow it to affect your faith, whatever it is, then of course, yeah, you're going to feel crushed. And I attribute it to my classmates, to Grant, to Lawrence, to Roy, my instructors, all of them that were encouraging me to be like, listen, do not let this setback define you. Keep pushing through, keep trying. And the next time I took it, which was literally the next day, I got a better score than core one. I did actually better because I just didn't doubt. So
Well, you are certainly not alone. I appreciate the fact that you shared that as well because you're not alone. We had a roundtable a few weeks ago, and it
Mhm.
was CWP graduates,
Mhm.
and to a person, and Grant was there. He moderated to
Mhm.
a person. I mean, we actually led the conversation off with failure. I failed this, and I struggled through this, but I overcame, and it was just that same mindset. You have to just know that you're going to overcome those things and be
Yes.
dedicated to doing that. So I appreciate the fact that you shared it.
Yeah.
We're still a little off script here, but I guess I'm curious. The fact that your instructors, a majority of your instructors in the program are veterans, does
Yes.
that help? Does that make things, I guess, easier to digest or easier to just get through the program?
I I think in a way it does, but at the same time, no, because we actually had somebody there that was a civilian.
Yeah.
He was the only civilian in our class, and he fit right in. He was phenomenal, and like I said, if he's watching right now, he knows who he is. But he was great. Like I think in a lot of ways it did help because we were all kind of it brought us back to that mindset from the military. So it did for sure. And I think that the old saying two is better than one. So
Right.
we would always get together. We would always have study sessions. A lot of times it would be after class for like 30 minutes or something, or we put together, and each person had their own little group. So yeah, we really stuck by because we realized like, hey, because I will honestly admit, without them, I would not have passed.
Yeah.
I honestly do not think I would have passed. You have to form those, and this is how I look at it. You have to form those connections. I understand if people might have different opinions on that, but for me, I recognize like I need to involve myself and make friends. Make friends with my classmates, and it helps so much because they provided perspectives for me on certain topics, and a lot of them had experience as well, that they were able to show me something that I had never seen before. And I think that is crucial to being able to not just like do well on your certifications, but in life, when you're doing this career, to be able to
Yep.
understand like, oh, okay, I remember this because my buddy said blah blah blah. So
Well said,
absolutely.
William. And again, I always try to say during these conversations, if you take one thing out of this chat, maybe take that.
Yeah.
Try to take one thing out of this conversation. So make friends. You lean on other folks. You have a whole support network, whether it's with us or somewhere else, but especially here. Lean into those folks to help you get through those rough patches. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. Earlier you said you were determined to do the best you could in the
Yes.
program. So let's talk about what that looked like. And
Mhm.
folks, maybe you should get a stopwatch out if you have some time here. We're going to go through the certifications that William earned, at least some of them. All right. Impressive stack was, let's see. So A plus, Network plus, Security plus, CySA plus, obviously the core 4, plus the IT operations specialist, secure infrastructure specialist, security analytics professional, stackable certs. So 4 for 4 on your core exams, and then obviously adding in the stackables. Very impressive. Again, world-class IT professional. So for folks interested in how the heck you not only got through this, but got through it, it so well, and the kind of the top of your class, what was your study approach? How did you manage those things?
Good question. So first thing is, I learned that the best way for me to retain things was, and this kind of goes back to a previous question, was understanding the why. Like not just understanding like how something works, like to be able to get the answer, but understanding the why, and then teaching that to somebody. I thrive on teaching somebody how to do something, because it can let me know if I did something wrong, number one, and then two, it makes me more confident, like going in and be like, no, I know exactly how to answer this, how to answer this. And I will say one thing that Grant did that was very, very helpful for us when we were taking our tests. He's like, hey, listen, when you're reading this question, find the 2 questions on the multiple choice that make no sense, that are like, no, this is like, that doesn't make any sense at all. That's not anything related to what the question's asking. And that really just helped narrow down and help me find the answers. Now, in terms of resources, there were several that I used. I mean, we used Percipio, we used MeasureUp, we used a Quizlet. We would go down Gemini on AI and help and make quizzes based on the certification that we were doing.
Yeah.
So we used a lot of different resources, or at least I did, to make sure, because I'm like, listen, I need perspectives from many different things. I can't just get used to one thing and put all my eggs in that one basket. Because for me, one of the things that I learned in the Marine Corps, there's an acronym called KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
And so like, I'm like, listen, when you're teaching me something, I want to be able to learn it in the most simple, easy to way, understand it, easy to memorize it. So when you teach me something, so that way when I teach you, I'm like, I already got it. I remember what it was. So I would say all of that. And then the last thing I will just say with this, is understand that these take time. It takes repetition. Like using all these resources is good, but understand it's a daily thing. You have to do it every single day. You have to put in the reps. Like when you work out or whatever it is, you have to put the reps in every day. That is something that Grant, I will remember this for forever. He always said reps, reps, reps. You will not retain this after one time. You have to keep putting it in every single day. So,
and again, that really resonates because we hear it. We hear it so many times. We've been doing these for 3 years now, and we've had several folks on, and they talk about the fact that they may not learn the same way their classmate learns. They may learn from a different source, so they're using Professor Messer and they're using all of these other resources because that helps get the information in a way that they might not have understood elsewhere.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And actually, it's funny that you said Professor Messer. So I didn't necessarily use Professor Messer. I know classmates of mine did. But I would use, that was something else I forgot to mention. So I would literally be in the car driving somewhere and having a YouTube video play questions, right? As I'm going to like point A to point B, literally, Aaron, I would have like everywhere that I was at, just be flooding with just knowledge, just like either questions, something, so that I'm constantly learning. I would be going to, because we were during the holidays, I would be going to a Thanksgiving party, and as I'm driving there, I have the YouTube playing, and it's asking me, hey, asking me a question related to A plus or whatever, and I'm just like, it's this question, so like, yeah, it's this constant replay.
Reps. That's how it's done. It's great to hear. By the way, Patricia, I saw that you put Joshua's comment up. I didn't call it out. So Joshua Phillips over on LinkedIn. Sounds like you made some good friends, professional network enhancements, lean on one another in search of opportunity. IT and IT security is everywhere. Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you, Joshua. Really appreciate it. Bruce had a question. How did it work for you online? Did you learn online, and how was that?
I actually enjoyed it. Actually, just real quick shout out. That's my uncle Josh, by the way. Joshua, that's him. So
there you go,
shout out to
Joshua.
him.
Hey,
To Bruce's question, online was great. I loved it. I think in a way, it was just, I think it was more easier for me to be productive. And it may sound weird, but um, I think that it made me realize sometimes, like when we go to commutes to go somewhere, like how long it'll take, especially with Houston traffic being, the way that it is. But being able to do an 8 to 5 from the comfort of my own home, just being able to lock in, and I have 2 monitors, so I'm able to like do one thing on this monitor, and have something else on the other monitor. It was very great. I loved it. I think that I think everyone's different, but for me, I had no issue at all doing it from remote.
I'm with you all the way on that.
Mhm.
Makes perfect sense. And Josh, thanks for loaning your nephew out to us for a little while today. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here to support him. All right. There were 2 things. Oh, one, you mentioned there's an acronym,
Mhm.
KISS.
Mhm.
Isn't there an acronym for everything in the military?
There is.
Literally. Okay. Yeah,
There is.
I'll ask you, we could spend our next 30-minute chat on that. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll go through those things. All right. So let's talk about the job search.
Mhm.
You're currently in the middle of that. I mean,
Yes.
this is happening. You graduate tomorrow, but you are searching, which I
Mhm.
love to hear.
Mhm.
Can you talk about that experience and kind of what you're learning about the job market and how to navigate the job market?
Absolutely. If I had one thing for anybody to take away, networking, 100%. You have to network. Without networking, you're it's like you're just making it harder for yourself, is the best way I can put it. So for anybody that does not have a LinkedIn, I highly, 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 highly recommend you make one and start the process now. Like if you're getting started to start school at for MyCC, make one now. Just like whatever you got, and trust me when I say the career service advisors there, they will help you with that, because they're fantastic. Jason, I know he was watching. He's mine, and he was fantastic. Helped me out, and still is to this day. But the job search alone, it can be stressful. I will say that it can be, just like with the certs. I would recommend to anybody that if they're starting this program, right, after you earn your first cert, what I did, start applying and hit the ground running, and make use of all, like this, in the same way that you study. Make use of all of the job recruitment sites like Indeed, Dice, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, Monster, all of those things. Make sure you put yourself out there everywhere. And and I will say this too. One thing, it's quality over quantity. If you just mass send your resume out to a bunch of companies, I promise you 90% of them do not care, because it's all about the ATS, and they want you to use keywords, and you want to make sure that things really line up. First off, you also want to make sure you want to do the job that you're actually applying for too. I think a lot of people think like mass sending is the best way to go. No, I am very I'm very methodical and very organized now. I have a spreadsheet that I use that helps me keep track of all of that. And I think that
Right.
staying organized, and little side note, this spreadsheet actually helped me the other day. I had a phishing email for a job posting that I didn't even apply for. So the training that I got from Grant, thanks be to him on that, helped me out a lot, because I was able to identify this is a scam. This is like I never even applied for it. So the organization helps a lot. So I would say make use of the resources. Make sure you're on every platform, every job posting platform, and don't think also that you have to apply like 20,000 times a day. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
narrow it down. I would say 5 to 10. But understand that applying for a job in and of itself is a full-time job. You need to be consistent. Like even if
Absolutely.
you get an interview, keep on applying, keep going.
And
Until go ahead. Sorry.
sorry, go ahead, please. Go
No,
ahead.
it's just that was it. That was my thought. Was just
Yeah.
basically, even if you get an interview, it does not matter. You keep on applying until you're like, hey, we'd love to have you for so and so job.
Great advice. There's 2 things. We talked to Tim Pillard, who is on our career services team, and he made the point to say the interview is the win.
Yes.
If you're breaking through and getting to an interview, that means that there's something right on your resume and your process. So definitely remember that, folks. And also, I love the idea, you got your first cert and you started applying,
Mhm.
because I think that most likely allows you to realize what you're doing wrong along the way and
Mhm.
refine and adjust the process.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. All right. All right. So we talked about career services a little bit. Do you mind just touching on kind of quickly what their role is, or if how they helped you or are helping you in this process?
Yeah. So for me, my advisor, like I said, Jason, has been phenomenal. The way that he did it for me, he had a 1 through 6 step program, like structure. So we would meet together. I'd set up a meeting with him. He'd go over like my background, and he'd talk about like, okay, this is what you've done professionally. And he'd help tailor my resume for IT specifically. He'd incorporate things that I didn't even know was IT related. And I thought that was so helpful because like without him, without the advisors, like he helped me so much to be able to have a resume that's specifically tailored to that. And all the tips that he's been helping me with on applying and getting into jobs. I mean, it's without Jason helping me and without any of the others as well. I mean, they do so much, and they have so many students that they work with. And I feel just very grateful and very fortunate that I've had him to lean on. Tim as well. Cause I actually had a meeting with Tim the other day about that, and he's 100% right. Because when I've been applying for jobs, I got an interview yesterday with a company. That was my first interview after 3 months. Like I was searching, and I just felt so grateful that I got an interview. I was like, okay, it's working now. I can build off this. I can actually keep doing it. And so I would just say, make sure you're staying up on your studies. Make sure that you're, doing everything you can on that, but also make sure you set aside time, to set yourself up for your future. Cause you will graduate. Right. Those 3 months will fly by. I promise that. Cause you will be busy every day. And make sure you lean on them. That's what they're there for. They do a tremendous job. And, I can't thank them enough, like for the hard work that they do. They're the ones that have been helping me set up for success. So
got it. And, congrats on the interview. You told us a little bit about it ahead of this, but congrats on getting that interview. That's a very big deal.
Yes.
And I'd also maybe just add, for anyone listening, allow yourself some grace. The job search process is it's going to take a little while. It's going to take some strategy. It's going to take networking. It's going to take all of the things that William said. Allow yourself some grace. You're going to fail along the way, but you're going to find your spot. I promise. Grant has a question, which I didn't hit. Linux, Windows, or Mac OS?
Windows, 100%.
Just
Windows.
like that quick.
Yeah.
All right. Alejandro, it looks like over on Facebook. Sorry, I can't quite see. How about a person who starts from zero? Absolutely, yes. Our programs are designed for that, Alejandro. But anything to add, William?
So I'm trying to make sure. So who wants to start?
No IT experience is what I'm taking from that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I will say this. I didn't think I had as much IT experience as I did. And I think for anybody that's applying, you'd be surprised like how much, IT fits into a lot of these jobs. You'd be surprised like how much of it like we actually do that we don't think about, like, oh, that's not IT, that's not whatever. But even if you're starting from zero, absolutely. Yeah. If you don't have any experience about that, like you've done nothing related to tech whatsoever, that's not okay, you can't. No, absolutely. I think it's better actually if you don't have any experience, because you're coming into this fresh and you can, you're like a sponge, you can just absorb everything. I think that it can be tricky if you're coming in with knowledge about things. You're like, well, we did it this way, and you might have to like relearn certain things. So I think in my opinion, when you come in with no experience, you're actually kind of at an advantage, because you're able to just absorb everything you learn.
It's really interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Really interesting. I appreciate hearing that. We may talk about that a bit further. I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. Alejandro, by the way, that response you're getting from Facebook is one of our automations. So we have something where anytime you comment start, it's going to send you an automated comment. So that's what that is. We'll keep refining that, but it's good to see that it works. All right. So we talked about graduation, William. Let's just hit on the formal question. Tomorrow at noon, you're going to be virtually walking across the stage with over 2,100 other graduates over on our YouTube channel. Can you just talk? And I think I get it. You talked about it so far, but you want to just hit on quickly what that moment means for you?
So it's kind of, sometimes, and forgive me, Aaron, it might just be a little bit hard to put into words, but it's really, I think the one word that I come to is just grateful. I mean, and this goes back to my faith, Aaron. Like this is all His doing. This is all God's doing for me. Like He made this happen so quickly. He moved so quickly for me, and I'm just grateful to be, in this career, like with with my friends, my classmates who are my friends that I've made throughout the way, and I just love the fact like that, back in September, like when I got let go from my previous job to now, it needed to happen. It was necessary. It needed, this shift needed to happen. I needed to move on into what I was meant to do. And I just know that I give Him the glory for this, because, without Him, like this would not have happened. I wouldn't have seen things or appreciated graduation for what it was. And I thank all the staff. I thank, all the times, all the study sessions with my classmates. And it's kind of a surreal moment. Makes me a bit emotional sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. It's just a wonderful step in what feels like this is the right path. This is where I need to go, so.
All right. So again, you've earned getting here. And I just want to reiterate, congratulations on that. And congratulations to every single one of you folks who have earned getting to tomorrow. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It took a lot for you to get here. So let me get you out of here on this. There's that person out there who's considering maybe IT training or jumping into IT training. For any of those folks, whether they're a veteran or otherwise, what's your advice for those folks who are on the fence? And specifically, what's your advice for those folks who might be on the fence about jumping into the MyCC world?
I will say this. It may not come across as advice, but it's totally worth it, 100%. And I would just say, don't wait. I would say, don't doubt what you're capable of doing, right? Like if this has been on your heart for a very long time and you thought about it, but you're just thinking like, it has to be in this situation. Like, I don't think that there's like the perfect situation, right? I really think it's about the leap of faith. You're taking a leap of faith, and it may sound scary. And for a minute it was for me, because I'm like, oh, I don't, it was new. And I think that with change, for anybody, especially for me, change doesn't always come easy, because you're doing something different, and just, you're not sure, you don't have like a baseline yet. You're trying to figure out like what to do. But I would just say, don't wait on it. Don't put it off. If this has been on your heart for a very long time and you really want to get into it, I would just say, take that leap of faith. And I will say my computer career has gone above and beyond in so many ways. I think for me, I cannot, it may sound, overused, but I really cannot thank them enough for all of what they have done. They have helped in so many ways, and they have set such a stable platform for me for this new career and I know for a fact that anytime I come back, for a new job or if I want to get more certs or whatever, I can come back to them and make use of resources even after graduation. So it's a lifelong, benefit that I get. So I would just say, just don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Take a leap of faith. So
excellent. Really appreciate the insight as much as anything, William. Obviously appreciate your journey, and I appreciate all of your advice. But the insight was great. And just hearing a little bit more from someone who thrived in the program means a lot for a lot of folks. And just for the record, don't wait. You'd be surprised how often we ask that question to everyone who joins us, and don't wait pops up at the front of almost every single answer. So that does ring true. And by the way, our chief marketing officer is watching, Bruce. We're going to have to jump into that, lean into that a little bit. Don't wait. All right, I'm just putting it out there. William, this is all about you, and I really appreciate the conversation. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. I hope you know that. Don't be a stranger. Keep us updated when you get that job, and you will. And we'll have you back in, and we'll talk about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis out in the world of IT. But more than anything, just thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Aaron. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor.
Honor's all on this end. And folks, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate the time you spent with us. Appreciate the support and some of the great questions that you had as well. We will be here next week, same time, same place. We're going to talk about some IT industry news, and I'll have some more information. We'll have some more information for you on our social channels about that. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you here next week. And William, if you don't mind, if you could just hang around for a little while, we'll make
absolutely.
sure all is well and then get you out of here. All right, folks. Thank you so much.